What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome to our next build, the Fortress of Frenzy. But yes, it is finally here. The Frenzy build is done, and whereas with a lot of my builds I aim to do as much damage as possible, this build instead aims to become a absolutely invulnerable killing machine that is capable of taking tons of hits of damage while still being able to secure the kill. This is a fantastic build for countering a lot of the stuff that we see in PvP right now. Stuff like the Millennia Katana spam, stuff like Rivers of Blood spam, stuff like Moonveil. This build will hard counter all of that stuff. So to jump on into it, first up we got our stats. Of course, I'm 150 as always, Vigor at 60 because I love my health. Mine we have up to 18, just gives us a little bit to use Ashes of War. Endurance, we're going to have to go up to 43 to have a medium load with all this thick boy gear we got. Strength needs to be 48 for weapon requirements, Dex at 20 for weapon requirements, Intelligence and Arcane left down at base, and then Faith we go up to 22 for weapon in addition to spell requirements. Don't interrupt me. Oh my god, they're all coming. What is this? Anyway, moving on from the stats, though, to the gear. Of course, as you'd probably expect from a Frenzy build, Vike's War Spear. This one should be a no-brainer. Pretty solid spear all around. Obviously, this is more useful in PvP versus PvE because Frenzy is incredibly limited in PvE content. I believe it only applies to other Tarnished, and there's not a lot of Tarnished you're fighting in the game. That being said, the Frenzy Flame Thrust is actually a pretty decent Art of War. It's going to do a solid chunk of damage, but in general for PvE, I would suggest mixing it up. Just some general alternatives. Cold Cross Naginata I think is great because 105 Frost build up, 45 Blood Loss build up. Inquisitor's Giriendel, also not too bad, having the blood build up along with physical and fire. But you could honestly use any spear, any great spear. I believe even rapiers and perhaps even the large thrusting swords are able to work with this build. But the biggest thing is you want something that you can hide behind the shield with and poke, because as long as we are behind this shield, nothing is going to be able to kill us. So let's talk about the shield, because that is the centerpiece of this build. That is what makes this such an amazing Frenzy build, aside from just use spear and Frenzy spells. The shield is honestly the best part. The shield is where our Frenzy is really coming from. So we have two in this case. We have one that's magic, one that's fire. For those that still don't know how to get two of any weapon, what you want to do is like upload your save to the cloud, jump into the game, drop the shield for a friend, and then reload your cloud save, and then he drops you the shield back, and then ta-da, you have two. You can do this with anything. But we have enchanted one with magic and one with fire. Typically this has like 90 guard boost and 100 physical, and that's fantastic. But for PvP in particular, and even PvE to some extent, I like doing this mix-up because we're going to cover our guard damage negations a little bit better. With magic we have, well, both of these of course are 95 physical, but with magic we get 96 magic negation, and then this also has holy up at 86. So that's going to cover your magical and holy bases. And then over here we make this fire, which gives us 100 fire resist and then 90 lightning resist, which covers those bases. Now you could make it lightning instead, and I think the split is like 98 lightning to 93 fire, but there's something real satisfying about just negating out all of a particular damage type, so I decided to go with fire. But it's really going to be preference. Keep in mind that when you do a shield bash, it's going to do the bash, and it's going to do that damage based on the stats. So this is going to do some magic damage on bash. This is going to do some fire damage on bash. If I make it lightning, it's going to do, I believe lightning scales off your dex, but so your bash is going to be dependent on what you have enchanted with. And I want to also point out that we have shield crash and shield bash, which we're going to use for different things, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Of course, we also have the Erd Tree Great Shield, which is fantastic to counter out spell spam, but to be honest, you're not going to need it. This thing absolutely shuts down magic spammers. Just wait till we get to the PvP montage. There's one guy that like drops a full Comet Azure on my face, and I just sit in it and it doesn't do anything. Of course, we also have Clawmark Seal because we have rather high strength. This is a great incant item to have. Putting on a couple of the basic Frenzy spells, obviously we have a couple other things like Bestial Vitality, things like Dragon Bolt Blessing. You can put on some other buffs if you want them, but we'll get into that later. As for the gear, I went Veterans, Banished, Veterans, and Banished. Just a mix and match of this armor. And the Veterans is basically just a variant of the Banished. You know, a good example here is the feet are almost identical, as you can see. So just mix matching, going Veteran, Banished, Veteran, Banished. I think this looks really good. It all blends together, has a very knightly type look. I'm a fan of it. Moving down here, Erd Tree's Favor +2, health, stamina, equipment load, all perfect on this build. Great Jar's Arsenal, we're not going to be able to function without it because we're using a shield that has a 29 weight. Great Shield Talisman is fantastic. This is just going to increase our guarding ability even more, make it so that we're basically not using stamina when we're guarding. And then the Spear Talisman because that is going to boost up any of our counterattacks. So anytime we poke somebody while they're attacking, it gets a damage boost. So obviously a great choice, but you could actually mix this one up for somebody else. If you wanted to use a different talisman, this is the one I would replace. I would consider these three to be mainstays of the build. So real fast, let's just talk about how this actually functions. You know, we're going to use one of the dogs. The dogs are one of the most obnoxious enemies in the game. They're super aggressive. I think they're definitely one of the trickier things to deal with, but look at this shield. Look at how much stamina it costs me to block. And if I kept the physical version where I was at 100%, I would be blocking everything this dog's doing. Now obviously we're down at only 95 and we've reduced our guard boost a little bit, so we're taking very small chip damage. You know, it's slowly getting us. But what's great is I can just sit behind this shield and I can poke. So this is a very, very safe build. It's not going to have the raw damage of the other builds, but that's why we're able to rely on things like frostbite, things like status. We're going to keep on poking. And that's what makes this fantastic, even in PvE, is, you know, if it can't do damage to us and we're just slowly poking it down and getting bleed and getting frostbite and whatnot, whatever we're fighting is going to die at some point. Now, keep in mind that if you stop blocking, you're not nearly as tanky as you think. So if you start doing a running R1, if you start doing the regular attacks, you know, once that shield isn't in front of you, you have lost the thing that makes you so invulnerable. So definitely be careful when you're playing this. You're going to be holding down your left bumper a lot. But going on into the shield, let's talk about the shield, because this is where things really get good. So we have shield crash on magic and we have shield bash on fire. And I'd highly suggest you get 2 of these shields so you can have access to both of these. The great thing about this is that if you're in the middle of fighting somebody, you can quickly go here and swap over to the other one. It doesn't look like anything's changed because it's the same exact shield, but all of a sudden you have a new Ash of War that's coming out. Now the fantastic thing about shield bash is this is very sudden. It's closer to a parry. So when we use this, the shield slams down, we go forward. And you can use this as soon as you see a move start up. So somebody starts up Rivers of Blood, boom. Somebody starts up Millennia, boom. Somebody starts swinging in with dual twin blades or dual katanas, boom. And that's not only going to interrupt a ton of attacks, but you can block straight out of that. So if I hit L2 and then I hold L1, you can see I go straight back into the block. There's like a fraction of a second where my guard isn't up there. Now shield crash, on the other hand, this one is going to be better for the longer, more drawn out things, which is why I like this with magic, because I feel like a lot of the holy stuff we see, a lot of the magic stuff we see, it has a very big wind up. Think Wave of Gold, think all of the magic spells. I mean obviously Moonveil's super quick, but to be honest, against that you're just going to block and poke anyway. So, and what's great about this is initially if you tap it, it's the same thing. It's just going to do a little rush, but you'll notice we two-hand it. If you hold it, you're going to run along. And what I want to point out is when you're doing these slams, you're getting that 70 madness buildup. And this in particular, shield crash, that is a multi-hit slam. So you are just like boom, 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 boom. You're hitting the target multiple times with that, and every single one of those hits is building up frenzy. Now obviously we can't build up frenzy on a dog, but just to show the kind of damage this thing is capable of doing, because like I said, the shields are really big on damage. Notice it ran through it. I don't think I can actually hit it while it's on this thing. Come on to some even ground, please. You're ruining my showcase. Come on. So yeah, 1,800 damage from that shield. That's a shield. You can see the shield bash hitting for 919. You don't even really need a weapon. You could just shield bash your way through the game, to be honest. The only real threat here is if you decide to stop blocking, or something hits you from above like that. So anyway, obviously the shields are capable of doing a ton of damage, and to be honest, no one expects that. Especially because the way you're going to be playing this is you're going to be sitting behind the shield and you're going to be poking and you're going to be poking and you're going to be poking, and then they want to go for something and boom, and you get that trade-off and you take like 10 damage and they take like 500. So very, very interesting playstyle, but obviously it is one that is not without its weaknesses. So for starters, this build doesn't have the aggression to rush somebody down, making it a very poor choice as a build to invade with. You can block all day, but unless you can actually get the kill, you know, it's not worth it invading. But if you're a host and you're just running through with buddies, or, you know, you're playing as a summon, nobody's going to kill you with this build. Like, earlier we were doing, when I was capturing PvP footage, there were some summons that they came in, they would fight me for like 2-3 minutes, and then they would just leave, because they realized there was literally nothing they could do. Talking about the spells real fast, Frenzy Burst, obviously fantastic as a ranged option. Flame of Frenzy, fantastic just to give me a little bit of AoE. Inescapable Frenzy is a little bit weird. I thought it was a bug at first, but it seems that this pulls from whatever your right hand is. Now initially, you know, people had a bleed weapon or a frostbite weapon or a frenzy weapon. If they got hit by this, it's going to almost instant proc that status and it's going to kill them. And I was like, alright, this has got to be an exploit. But then I tried it with a level 1 dagger, and I still did like 1800 damage. So the other thing is, what's really weird about this, if I have no weapon equipped, it does almost nothing. I think I don't know if I did any damage to Toxin when we were testing it. I know I did a little bit of frenzy buildup, and that was it. And so it got me thinking, and I'm like, well, why would there be a 21 faith requirement if it doesn't do anything? I think this spell is actually intended to pull from whatever your main hand is. So I don't think it's an exploit the same way that, you know, using Flame's Deadly Sin and like Eclipse Shotel was. I think this is supposed to pull from whatever you have equipped. I don't know if it's supposed to pull status, but the fact that I got a kill off using it in a level 1 dagger, that tells me it's supposed to pull from damage. Just to go through these real fast, obviously the great thing here is, you know, they're doing a Frenzy Burst when they're far, then they get a little bit closer and, the Flame of Frenzy catches them, and then you go into this, and they're like, oh, here it comes again, but you grab them instead. So the idea is you have these other spells, and then you're baiting them into the grab. Dragon Bolt Blessing, obviously this is fantastic because it's going to increase our resistances across the board, and that's another one of the weaknesses this build has. You know, people that are going to focus on just rot, bleed, frostbite, and try to whittle you down via status, this will shut down status builds. And then obviously, because we're sitting behind a shield, Bestial Vitality, might as well. Like, honestly, this is strong enough that it's going to offset any and all chip damage you take while playing with this. This is like the main spell you're going to use most of the time. Now, obviously, we have 22 Faith. If you want, you could go a little higher on Faith, and there's some other things you could run. You know, you could add in Barrier of Gold or Golden Lightning. These are only 24 Faith, so you could drop your Mind a little bit or another stat a little bit to fit stuff like that in. Golden Vow is up at 25. I don't think we're going to really need that. Just to talk about the other Frenzy spells, I think this move is horrible, and honestly, nobody gets hit by Shallow Shabriri. You'll hit it once, after that you'll never hit it again. Like, as soon as people see what it is, they're just going to slowly walk away from you when they see you using it, so I don't think it's a very good inclusion. But that is going to be the basics for this build. I mean, there's really not much to it, you know? We have a super thick shield, we block everything, and then we poke from behind our shield. It's obnoxious to deal with, and it's almost unkillable. So, either way, let's jump into some PvP footage and show you what it can do. Look at me, Mr. Mage.
Good trades.
Try it.
he's like, no,
try it more.
Like,
Yeah, keep trying that. It's gonna work out, I promise.
Yes, when he does that. Yes.
Nope. Come, fight me.
What was he doing?
I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he just knew he stood no chance against the shield. Come here, friend.
Now you're fucking bullying this man.
Got him. Is that the guy from before?
Oh.
Don't kill him. Don't kill him. Let him try and heal. Go on, heal. You must fight. You must fight me. This is what I was designed to battle.
I love the fact that it's not like other builds where it just does a ton of damage, but it's just like you can't escape this.
Yeah, it's just slow creeping death. I don't know why I kept hitting into it, dude.
Oh no!
Not the ram!
There's no counterplay.
Uh-oh. Nope. Sit down.
Oh my god. The ram got me, dude.
The ram got you. Oh no. Oh, Mr. Ram Man. Ram versus Shield! We're both. This is so dumb.
So much poison.
I see what his plan is. The plan is to use he's using the stars to heal than the standard debuff. This is definitely probably one of the funnier builds I've seen.
And then he's using a poison drink, and then he's also using a poison blast. So he probably has like 160 poise.
I mean, this is the thickness versus the thickness.
That's fun. I respect the hell out of that, man.
It's done. Frenzy Shield reigns supreme. Do I actually need to chase you down?
There we go.
Ba, 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 ba. My man was running for his life. What is this one? Is he a katana boy?
Bloodhound Fang.
He's trying to find an opening. It's just not there.
Walking at him.
There's the frenzy. And the shield.
Commander
Postman. Oh, it's this guy. Do I have my crash on? I'm gonna go for the I'm gonna hit him with Bash. We'll see how Bash works against him. Yeah, you remember me, don't you? Welcome back to the show. Come on, do your thing. Do your thing. Come on, I know you want to.
He wants to fight
He wants
me.
to fight you instead? Alright, why not? Tox, you get a fight in this showcase.
I'm gonna show you the forbidden technique of how to counter a lightning ram. All you have to do, just run away.
Yeah?
No,
you just run away.
He has so much poise.
I know he does.
Oh my god.
There's another one coming in. Whoa, hang on, buddy. I gotta kill this one first. Rivers of blood. Ooh.
That guy has to have like 160 poise. It's so naughty.
Uh-oh. There we go.
My sign is down. I want to rematch Goat Boy.
Hang on, Go Boy's about to die. I just face tanked a Moonveil and smacked him to get my frenzy off. Try again. Poor Ram Man. Ram Man just got flawless. Godfrey's axe. Goes through
Yeah,
blocks.
that is a, yeah, that's a counter.
He has to get that off before I madness him, though. See, the problem is he's not following it up. He's doing the initial shout, and then he's just, I can back up and heal. He needs to follow it up. You need to follow it up, Peter. Oh, Peter tried his best. Unga Bunga is gone. Now back to the Battle of Bleed Man. Oh, he's rotted now too. There you go, kill your rot. Ooh, a little laggy. Now he's quick stepping. This is just gonna go on all day long, isn't it? Dude, I love it so much about fights like this. Is like this is literally just it's a matter of time. Because sooner or later he's gonna get frenzied, and when he does, yeah.
Comes. Oh. Hit him with a jumping right there.
Ba, 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 ba. I'll take Blasphemous, man. Blasphemous guy's down. Where's the other one at? Don't you die to that tox. I'm coming in.
Stop it. No millennia.
I hard counter you. You can run all you want. There's no escaping. This is like the Michael Myers of builds.
He just keeps coming.
Oh, there's one named Millennia. Where's that one at? Oh, I'm gonna go. Watch out for the other katana blade.
Lead twin blade.
Yeah, I'll take care of this. No, you come here. I need a good example of countering.
Good trades, good trades.
Can't stop this. Oh. This is so dumb. It's so funny seeing all these spammy ass weapons come in like, I'm gonna get some crazy attacks, and it's like, no you're not. Just stop. Sit down. Just sit down. Your shield just did nothing. You did all of that and you did nothing. Why? Why are you trying? Stop it. You cannot beat me. can also heal. Literally the only way this guy can hurt me. Oh, I'm gonna tank a Comet Azure. Here we go.
Oh, sit down. He did nothing. Nothing can kill the wall of frenzy.
He's over at one of those little plants that's gonna spam spells on me. Give up hope. There it is. Goodbye, Mr. Mage. So before we wrap things up, I do want to talk a little bit about counterplay. While this build obviously did a fantastic job against surviving against pretty much everybody I came against, it is not without its faults. The same way that this can hard counter Rivers of Blood spammers and whatnot, this gets hard countered by somebody using the Coated Sword or Cypherpoda, to a lesser extent people that are using like Scythes and Shodels, because those are designed to do damage through shields. Shields just can't block them properly. I mean, God, Horlu's Axe, that thing is terrifying because the weapon art literally cannot be blocked. So the same way that this counters the Rivers of Blood, there are things to counter this, and that's the point I want to make. You know, there are lots of things that people think are OP in this game or are unstoppable, but pretty much everything in this game has a counter when it really gets down to it. So either way, that is going to wrap things up for me. Up next, I'm going to have a lore build for y'all, and it's going to be pyromancy based. So really fun build. I've been working on it for a bit, taking a little bit longer to get out, but I think y'all will enjoy it. But either way, we're wrapping things up here for now, and I'll catch y'all soon with that.